In the current context of the Constitutional Amendment Bill to extend the president's term limit, I want you to listen to what General Chiwenga said over here and think about it.
It is pertinent to restate that the Zimbabwe Defense Forces remain the major stockholder in respect to the gains of the liberation struggle. And when these are threatened, we are obliged to take corrective measures. What is obtaining in the Revolutionary Party is a direct result of the machinations of counter-revolutionaries who have infiltrated the party and whose agenda is to destroy it from within. It is saddening to see our revolution being hijacked by agents of our erstwhile enemies, who are now at the brink of returning our country to foreign domination, against which so many of our people perished. It is our strong and deeply considered position that if drastic action is not taken immediately, our beloved country, Zimbabwe, is definitely headed to becoming a neo-colony again. The current purging and cleansing process in ZANU-PF, which so far is targeting mostly members associated with our liberation history, is a serious cause of concern to us in the defense forces. As a result of squabbling within the ranks of ZANU-PF, there has been no meaningful development in the country for the past 5 years. The resultant economic impasse has ushered in more challenges to the Zimbabwean populace, such as cash shortages and rising commodity prices. While our people may be persuaded to take what is going on in ZANU-PF as internal political matters in that party, the truth remains that ZANU-PF's conduct and behavior as a ruling party has a direct impact on the lives of every citizen. Hence, all of us, regardless of political affiliation, are affected by the party's manner of doing business. From a security point of view, we cannot ignore the experiences of countries such as Somalia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Central African Republic, and many others in our region, where minor political differences degenerate into serious conflict that has decimated the social, political, and economic security of ordinary people. Section 212 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe mandates the Zimbabwe Defense Forces to protect Zimbabwe, its people, its national security and interest, and its territorial integrity, and to uphold this Constitution.
And there you hear it for yourself 9 years ago, when the then General of the Army of Zimbabwe was about to remove Robert Mugabe, saying that when the civilian leadership fails to undertake their duty, when the President of the Republic fails to uphold the Constitution, fails to unite the Zimbabwean people, and the Parliament fails to hold him accountable and to force him to uphold the Constitution, and the courts fail to take action to protect the Constitution and to enunciate on how the laws of the country are supposed to be followed, then there becomes instability, and this instability causes a national security threat. And when that happens, the military of Zimbabwe is obliged to intervene so that we do not become Congo or any one of these other countries that are destabilized and unstable. And we're saying to you, what is so ironic is when you listen to what it is that the general said 9 years ago, and you apply it today, it almost sounds like he is talking about Zimbabwe today, where we've got a current president that is trying to butcher the Constitution, and the parliament is not holding him accountable, and the judiciary, despite having cases that have come in front of it, and they should make rulings to uphold the constitution, they have not, because they are looking at their own personal benefit, their allegations that they've been bribed, and they've stopped undertaking their duties to a point where the country is rolling towards instability. The military again might be forced to intervene if the civilians involved do not undertake their duties to do the work that they took an oath to do and to uphold the constitution of Zimbabwe. Now, if you remember what caused insecurity in 2017, is that then President Robert Mugabe did not want to be succeeded by his vice president, Emmerson Mnangagwa, who is now the president of Zimbabwe. And so he used party structures, he manipulated party structures, did not follow the constitution, to the extent that he got 9 out of 10 provinces to eject or to expel Emmerson Mnangagwa from the party. He ended up having to go into exile. Today, the very same thing is happening. President Emmerson Mnangagwa does not want to be succeeded by his vice president once again, who is Constantine Chiwenga. He instead wants to be succeeded either by family members or many people say Kudata Gurei. So again, the processes of ZANU-PF and the structures of ZANU-PF are being manipulated to the extent that this new amendment to the constitution came from conference instead of Congress, yet the only policy that is supposed to be implemented from ZANU-PF are supposed to come from Congress. So once again, we've got instability because a sitting president does not want to be succeeded by his vice president. Now, here's the difference between the instability caused under Robert Mugabe and that which we're seeing under President Mnangagwa. Under Robert Mugabe, there was not as much fear as we're seeing today. Why? Because you could actually see the Youth League and the war veterans begin to rise and oppose Munwese kuna Amai. People did not fear to stand up against Robert Mugabe, and he did not use the system to beat, arrest, and to threaten people's lives. However, under President Mnangagwa, there is so much fear, there is so much bribery. Kudata Gurei has gone to pay soldiers and people to go and beat people, to arrest people, and to victimize people to the extent that there's no fear, that very few people want to stand up against them. What is making people even more afraid is that 51 generals have died between 2017 and today in inexplicable manners, to the extent that people fear that what happened to the generals can happen to them. More importantly, the level of capture by counter-revolutionaries. You've got this Kudata Gurei. He sits on the World Economic Forum, a globalist institution that brought us COVID so that there could be a reset of the rich taking from the poor their properties. Kuda has been taking the assets of Zimbabwe, like, for instance, Great Dyke Investments from the military that owns some of the biggest reserves of platinum, and he put it into his own private company, which he resold back to the government for 1.9 billion. These are the counter-revolutionaries controlling the government and wanting to replace Emmerson Mnangagwa, and they're using bribery, fear, and beatings. Now, the question is, should we allow the parliament to do its thing and the judiciary, or should the army begin to look at taking over the country because of the instability that is taking us to...
Tingataura zva 2008 angochedzi kuti pakaitwa resistance kana kuti pakaitwa sei, but tikada because tofana kuti on the other side also, kana kuti tofana kumboti however, kana kuti moreover, isu vamwana tiri kuchera pasi zvedu, but mukatasa situation ya 2008 iyo iyaya yatingada kuda kuita sokuti pakagoneka mwepo paya angochedzi, tikada kuenda on the other side angochedzika 2008 paya pakatotadzwa to the last number paya from the opposition leadership. Nelson Chamisa wanga ariko zvake koko, but kutasa leadership yanga iripo, vakuru vanga varipo, pakakanganiswa zvokuti katauda kutoanalyze nepatiri izvo zvangochedzika 2008 paya even zvokuzotadza kuenda kumarirani nokuita sezvo ini ndotova pakana 1 out of 100 chacho, because kana mda kuona kuti 1 out of 100 angochedzera, muri kuona paya pakanzi rirani paya, right? Tikati hatisi kuda kuenda murirani handizvo, ko mugovernment of national unity akazoendirei isitamborambarira. We should just walk away and leave the temple as it was. But vanhu vakapinda mugovernment of national unity, vanhu vakaora madollars, vanhu vakavaraidzwa vana Jonathan Moyo vari busy up vachiita zvavanga vari kutoita panguva idzodzo. Tabva tamedzwa, ndobva tatomedzwa because papa takameta, we were swallowed completely neGNU here. Right. Toya pa 2017 angochedza. Do you know opportunity ya 2008 ne opportunity ya 2017? 2017 papa ndo papa ne opportunity angochedza. Paya. Le vanhu vainzwisisa politics sezvadziri. Do you know kuti 2017 deno opposition yakagara mumba yakasiya masoja ari ega nezano PF zvichisotana ukoko. Today we should talk something. Saka inyaya yekuda kuti izvezvi zvitoda kuanalyze, tichita slow motion, tichita VAR, tichida kuti chino ka. To be honest angochedzeka, chokwadi chiripo ndechekuti leadership yatiri kudhila nayo iri kunzi ndo leadership iripo. Vanhu ivavo tiri kudhila nawo neutsinya angochedza. Ende vasina kana kuregreta kana kuita sei. Saka going forward, lesson ingoripo izvezvi ndeyekuti ngatidzidzei kurega kudya huro iyi kuti tongodya nokuti ndiamai kana kuti ndiatete.
Akaintroduce Chamisa kuna akaintroduce Morgan Tsvangirai mazuva airwara pairwara paya tuZanu-PF ndiani.
But mbomira nditaure kashamwari, mbomira nditaure.
Unotaura kuti 2017 usingataura semabasa aChamisa wakaita sei?
Aiwa, mirai munapedza nyaya yake.
Unaona ndo problem ine masoja, but kuma squadron camp kuka mukana yakinda kuchikoro memi inayo, but you don't use it. Kuma squadron camp kwenyu ndo zvimwe zvinoita kuti nyika irambe iri useless, because techingoone vamwe vanhu vanongomhanya vasingaone kwavanoenda. Speed is not important, Bamni. Direction matters most. And we are not foolish. Uchitoona tichitaura shamari. And zvokuti kuchera pasi vari kunzwa izvizvi. Sometimes don't play with us. Sometimes you are a small boy. Iwe wemfana iwe. Don't try zvokuda kungwara sina basa izvo. Keep quiet. Saka angojezi mukuona kuti chika. Nyaya iripo ndeyekuti zvaizvozvi chaizvo zviripo. I encourage any leadership anozviti ano-opposer. Let's not talk of Nelson Chamisa, let's not talk of Tendai Biti, let's not talk of Wells. Whoever anozviti ndi leader we-opposition ngaando-constructa chinhu chake omira patende yake. Muri kunzwa angojedzi? Anozviti ini ndini panapa izvezvi ndini Jona ndoda kudai panapa. Ngaandomira kutende uko. Timuone kuti otaura ndiri pano patende wakomana. Otanga kuchimhanya the whole 10 provinces kuti ndini Jona ndine chinhu changu ichi chekuNineveh ichi. Uyai muchikepe tinde. That's what we call leadership by example. Zvekuanalyze nokutaura ndo zvatiri kuita every day pano pamaspace. We are doing it every day. ZANU-PF haiperere pakutaura chete. ZANU-PF inotoinvesta more kupractical kuground. Kunoka inotounza vanhu vasina basa vakaita sana Padara vasingatozikanwi ivo zvavo, vasina kana basa vanongozongonzi kuyu ndiani kumfanwa. Ndozvavanenge vachiita ZANU-PF vana Padara. Kukamfana kandiani kwaka. Awo ndokukura kashaka yaka.
Unoona briefing yeZANU-PF here. Unoona uri paTV. Hapa vanangondishora wakomana. Ndipesa dzangu pandingi ndichikusha wakomana.
Right. So angojeti nyaya iripo ndeyekudai sezvizvi. Chakachenjedza ndo chakatanga. I think izvezvi we learned a lot. Do you know that 2017 papa we lost a very big opportunity. Paidamburana ma black mamba paya. Ene munozati ma black mamba esaigona kudamburana kusara minzwa chetepo paya. Leno pakanyatsokuita a proper analysis. But takamhanya. saka izvozvi kumhanya takazoona kuti akusi important angojedzi zviri nane titi nonokei but tichisvika kwatiri kuenda kumhanya chaiko handiko kusvika 2017 2008 taught us a lot. So as for now usadya sadza mundiro nemwana womuroi, full stop. Many thanks.
Right. Okay. Can we go to Anodiwa? Anodiwa.
Yeah, no, ipai umwe mic ndakabatikana just a few minutes I'll come back.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Madue.
1 second. Sorry if my kid makes noise. My question is for Zeti. Is he still there? My question was, Zeti, how do you withdraw consent? I mean, he gave the background of the places that we were supposed to withdraw consent. We didn't. We're here now. So the question is, how do you withdraw consent that has already been taken? Because now what is needed from the consent is already taken. If you look at the figures from yesterday, was it yesterday? They say that we have already consented to this. 99% of the people have agreed, are saying this thing must go through. And then if you look at the parliamentarians, the people that you gave the authority to go into parliament, they are consenting on the behalf of the people. So if you don't do anything and say we're staying out, given the 2008 scenario, how does that help? Because nobody needs your consent anymore. The consent has already been taken. So how do you then take it back? So that is my first question. And then the second one, I'll come back when I'll give someone else a chance and then I'll come back.
Right. Zeti, do you want to respond to that? Or where is he?
Sisipo angojedzi.
Oh, Zetadona. Okay, Zetadona. Okay. Right. All right. I hope you know he said that question and the one also Zoga. Right. Can I bring in a Mwendas into the conversation?
Oh, sorry, Uncle Ted, can I ask the quick second question?
Okay.
The only place that still has our consent is the MPs. They are the ones who are holding the consent that we gave them and using it to advance in CAP 3. So how do you withdraw consent from them? Because they are the only ones who are now holding our consent. We don't have it anymore unless we decide to take it. Yeah, that was my second question. I don't know if it makes sense.
Right. Okay. I hope you know he comes back and then we'll give him the opportunity to speak, to respond, to you. So just stay there if you can, and then we'll give him the opportunity to respond. Mwendas, do you want to come through?
Yeah, but I'm back, Uncle. That's fine.
Oh,
Thank you.
all right. Okay, it's fine. Go on. Anodiwa Joshua. Yes. Please, go on.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you for the opportunity. We appreciate your space. I had a small privilege to host President Chamisa. Asked a few questions that led to his tweet. And I want to acknowledge him. Truly, he's a leader. Because when we discussed, asked him these questions, he became very relevant to his responses. But I'll speak through both your presentation, his responses, and maybe our action plan. Those three things. It's a little bit more painful that we have come to where we are. Instead of becoming mature by age from the time of our independence, which underpins the statecraft and the nationhood. 2013 was entrenching us into democracy. I'll differ a little bit with the other presenters. Morgan Tsvangirai did a great job. He's a hero amongst the heroes in Zimbabwe one of his greatest achievements was the 2013 constitution. This is the reason why ZANU-PF is restless. The deliberate ploy to thwart this constitution is a true sign that ZANU-PF realizes they cannot by any means hold power over people for long from now. People are getting tired. And one of the reasons why they are getting tired is because they don't get speeches of direction to the future nationhood and economic prosperity. There is a need to incorporate deliberate approaches to entrench democracy. Peaceful resistance stands as one greatest pillar that we can use to push ZANU-PF to the table. The same table that Morgan Tsvangirai obtained is because ZANU-PF realized the thing had gone and they acknowledged it had gone. Unfortunately, some proponents in resistance believe we should abandon the institutional processes for change of power. I see that as a grave mistake. We have a young generation. ZANU-PF has taken statistics of young people that run to the ballot box and they have believed it's a reality, this thing can go. And that is why they are hectic on introducing CAP 3. What is available for the citizens? The first thing right now is to persuade. This is by persuasive means, and that those persuasive means is what should bring ZANU-PF to the table. You rigged 2/3. I'm speaking into your presentation and into President Jamisa's statement. You rigged into 2/3 majority, and then now you have manipulated the system to rob the victory that people obtained in 2013. If you are sure that people want this, let's go for referendum. This can only come out of a strong constituents led by President Chamisa, along with the deliberate coalitions in the opposition voices, and convince ZANU-PF that you are robbing the very thing that the people had as their victory. If you are confident, go to the referendum. The second prong is to push hard with the judiciary system. And they put a voice, including petitions, that people don't want CAP 3. The only sanitation.
Sorry, Uncle Jed. I just want a question of clarity. Anodio, you want to move to which table? Under what terms? How are you going to convince them to say, come here, let us speak about this, when they are busy doing what they are doing? They are busy, they have kept 3 to finalize here. And you are saying you are going to say, come here. What methods? You can't just gloss over that.
I acknowledged that resistance is the first approach. Abandoning them alone is not a win for the people. The resistance I'm talking about and deliberate coalitions in the opposition voice is the one that will raise a platform that pushes ZANU-PF to the table. That is only obtained by mass demonstrations. This has happened during Morgan Tsvangirai's time, and that is what I'm calling the Zimbabweans to do in order for them to redeem their constitution. ZANU-PF will realize
on a table with how many legs, Anodio? Uncle Jed almost shed tears yesterday talking about the problem with these few people that you are asking to coalesce to bring ZANU-PF to the table. We clearly cannot rely on that.
I don't understand when has Zimbabweans become fewer. Are we talking of some individuals, or we are talking of the electorate of the land of Zimbabwe to be mobilized?
No, you cited the people coalescing. Which institutions are coalescing together to support the leader, Advocate Chamisa?
I said the broader opposition leadership and its people.